Good afternoon, everybody. Ross Squarzewski sitting with the one and only Dr. Patrick Flynn, and we have another amazing show for you today. We are super excited because we even have a special guest joining us today.
Yeah, and it's her birthday.
And it is her birthday,
Yes.
so we will let you know about that just in a few minutes, but we are excited to take you through this next 30 minutes as we answer some amazing questions. I don't know, I feel like singing today. Doc, talk to me. How's your mental fortitude? What is going on in your world today?
Just a lot of excitement happened that way. We have our training for our doc coming up next month. And,
I know it.
And the amount of people coming out of the woodwork from doctors and students actually all over the country just want to come, chiropractic schools and things like that, coming to the seminar. And they're thirsty for this information because they look out publicly and there's so many suffering, sick people. And the approach is appealing to them.
It is appealing.
So it's getting bigger and bigger.
Because all they hear about are, individuals getting clinical results.
Yes, yes.
And that's a beautiful thing.
And the end result is, and that's why the flood of questions that we got last week, oh my goodness, you start talking about your mother, people come out of the woodwork.
This is true.
Yeah.
So by the way, hey, we are also excited because, we've got a couple more offices that we are going to be launching, and they are going to be opening up in the Minneapolis area and northern Colorado in the Superior area and Edina.
So that's an exciting point though, because we are opening. We have a wonderful docs that came on board over in the Edina, Minneapolis area. Actually, I have a little history of Edina. That's why I think I've always liked it so much. There's a co-op there called The Wedge. They have the first ever organic meat department, and they have a big sign in there that said that way.
Is that right?
And I heard recently they have a different building now, so it's be kind of neat. But me and my wife, we used to travel to Minneapolis a lot for continuing education. We stopped there. We're like, oh my goodness! So
to watch Vikings games.
He's a Vikings fan. He's a Vikings fan. And then
someone has to be.
Denver, we have an office that will be opening there in the fall also that way.
Yes.
So once again, for example, offices that myself and our team opening up, besides all the affiliate offices that all the doctors from across the country come together that way. So it's exciting times. It's great stuff.
And even last Friday, we had a new doc, Kelvy and her sister, that were joining with us when we went live.
I was Kaylina, that's what it is.
Yes.
So Kelvy and Kaylina.
Yes, and from Mississippi.
Yes, Mississippi. So
down by the Gulf.
Yes, they were here visiting. So hello, ladies.
Good stuff happening. Hey, we want to also thank you, every one of you that are joining us every week. Do us a favor. Continue to share this message. Continue to share these episodes with people because the information that is getting out there, we believe is really revolutionary. And it's the information that people need to hear. So it challenges their mindset.
Yes.
Their thinking. And that's what we want to do.
Yes, that's our special guest today is going to talk about too.
Absolutely. So like, share. When we say something that's awesome, which is all the time, right? Hit the like, hit the like, give us a little bit of a heart. I know you want to give hearts because we're so good looking, as we always say.
That's right.
But hey, let's dive into this week's episode. Absolutely. And the questions. So, this is our 7th episode.
Yes.
There's a lot of great things that we've been talking about. So you've talked in detail about, men's hormones and women's hormones and the fact that women are cyclical, right? And really about what we do at the Wellness Way is something that is a little bit different. Your motto is, we don't guess, we test. So you've talked about the women's hormones being cyclicals, but last week you went into detail talking about your mother's testing.
Yes.
And it got me kind of thinking a little bit here because you started talking about how she was able to, I don't know, she's sitting with us today. Hi, how are you?
Mom's over in the corner.
I don't know if this is the right word, but, you talked about how she was able to coast through this phase in her life. It's a bad word, isn't it?
Yeah, so as you go through the question, read the rest of the question.
All right, here we go.
You're confusing everybody.
It's what I do. So you helped her go through menopause without the hellish side effects that we hear about.
Right.
I mean, I've heard nothing but bad stories.
Right.
So are you actually telling me that a woman does not have to experience these negative side effects in menopause?
Yes. So to set the stage, you usually say our question was, so let me set the stage.
I'm sorry.
As we do it that way. So a woman asked the question, for example, as I was going through the example of my mom, and as her transition to the menopause that way, the concept of menopause is totally backwards. Let me say it again. The concept of menopause is totally backwards. I want to say ass backwards. I guess I did.
I know what you did.
You know what I'm saying? That what it does is the fact that it's like, so then when women go into it, they have great fear. And
absolutely.
And if you look at the reason why they have great fear, because when you actually tell a woman that they're going to go into menopause, it's not like an exciting time to have a party for, okay? Because actually some very bad psychotic things have happened to women as they go through that hormone transition. But it's really funny, but we got to even understand what menopause is. No, think about this. So give me an example, and I'll use my mom, and I'm actually going to go over, because what the woman questioned was, well, what labs did you do with your mom? What did you do with these processes that way? So our show today is more about menopause. Okay, so menopause and what we do with it that way, and then use the example of my mother. So think of it this way: in order to actually view menopause, if you take the standard medical thinking and how they approach it that way, like I said, they're totally backwards, because they treat it like a disease.
Yes,
they treat it like some angry monster that when you hit 50 years old is going to reach around your bed and grab you and suck you down to an abyss of suffering.
But sometimes they seem like they act like that, though.
Well, they do. They act like that because
sorry, ladies, I wasn't trying to be mean.
Do you see what I'm saying? Guys, if there's one thing you have to be thankful for, is that you're not a woman. Because when their body transitions, even if it's healthy, it's very different than ours. We don't have MMA transitions. You know what I'm saying? We hit puberty and then we die. Okay, that's it. If we keep ourselves healthy, it stays the same. Okay.
Some think I haven't yet.
Yes, we don't have a supplement for that either, right, Ross. So what happens is this. So I just want to take this example. We know the biggest medical establishment in the country that is well known is actually Mayo Clinic. So what I actually did here, no joke, Mayo Clinic defined menopause perfectly to start. They really did. So you can just Google search, menopause Mayo Clinic, and you can read along right with me. Because what they do is they define it perfectly, and then they totally mess up. Now, yes, I'm saying this. Mayo Clinic, call me. I will tell you about it that way. You've totally messed up on this, okay? Let me explain. So what they did is I'm right on their website right now. It says, now here's what happens. Menopause is defined as occurring 12 months after your last menstrual period and marks the end of the menstrual cycles. Agree, okay? Menopause can happen in your 40s and 50s, but the average in the United States is 51. Once again, I agree. Okay, I see it all the time.
No issues.
So and therefore, ladies, if you go through menopause at 41, don't freak out. You know what I'm saying? Just get your body tested to make sure you're really in menopause.
Right.
Second of all, what happens is this. If you do it at 57, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I'm saying? You can menstruate all the way till then, no problem, okay? But the average age is 51. Now, here is the key, which I still believe is defined perfectly. Here it is. Menopause is a natural biological process. Let me repeat that again. Menopause is a natural biological process. Although it also ends fertility, you can stay healthy, vital, and sexual. Some women feel relieved because they no longer need to worry about pregnancy. Right there, everything they did at that point was absolutely perfect.
Should have stopped.
So when our current system now is teaching women about menopause, it's actually, once again, has a negative connotation. If I walked up to a woman and said, hey, menopause keeps you healthy, vital, and sexual, they're like, what freaking planet you living in?
Says who?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, guys spouting off about menopause. No, that's actually what menopause is. You see him? Now, on the flip side, moving right into their next paragraph. Now, this is hilarious. So they tell you what truly menopause is. They define it perfectly. In the next paragraph, they totally lose their credibility. They totally confuse women, and they totally have no clue what they're talking about. Even so, the physical symptoms such as hot flash and emotional symptoms of menopause may disrupt your sleep, lower your energy, or for some women, trigger anxiety and feelings of sadness and loss. It can't be both.
How can you be vital and healthy and sexual then have that list?
That's the point. And see what happens. So let me make this clear so you guys know this. Menopause is that state of a natural biological process. See, let me give you a life example. This woman came in. She actually says, Doc, I'm suffering so bad from menopause symptoms. How old are you? 64. Okay, cool. I test her. Hormones were devastatingly bad. It's really funny because I even asked her, I said, well, did your doc, and I know the answer already, but I asked the question equivocally because I know I want them to repeat it.
Right.
I said, did your doc measure your hormones? He's like, nope. I'm like, okay. So we measured them and they were horrible. Okay. Now we found out what was throwing all of our hormones off, built them back up, got them to a normal, retested. And she's like, Doc, I am doing so awesome. My body's amazing. I feel vital, sexual, and healthy. And I said, I thank God I got rid of your menopause.
Yes.
And she looks at me and I said, you caught what I said, didn't it? I thank God I got rid of your menopause.
Right.
No, menopause is a stage of life if you live long enough. The only people that don't hit menopause is if you die in your 30s. It's a natural biological process. But because it's so common for women to have hot flashes, let me go next, and here's on the next page with symptoms of menopause. Irregular periods, vaginal dryness, hot flashes, night sweats, sleep problems, mood changes, weight gain, thinning hair, breast fullness, okay?
All the negative stuff we hear.
But what happens is, that's not menopause. Right. That means you are sick. that means your hormone levels are off. And because it's so common, here's a phrase. I want to be quoted at this. We got to make a quote for this one.
Write it down, guys.
Do not confuse common with normal. Do not confuse common with normal.
That's good.
It's like, I would say this, is PMS normal? And women go, yes. I said, then why do they call it premenstrual syndrome? There's a syndrome. There's something wrong. But it's so common, and your doctors are freaking clueless to deal with it that way, that they just accept it as normal.
So therefore we do.
That's right. And then me come along, speaking of female hormones, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's a male, this. No, this is basic biology. Look it up in a book. Do you see what I'm saying? Because all these women that have come into the Wellness Way clinics, it doesn't matter if you come here, it doesn't matter if you see Nicole, it doesn't matter if you see Dr. Fawaz in California, it doesn't matter if you see Dr. Brenda down in Texas.
That's right.
Guess what happens? They go into their offices, they evaluate the approach, which is very different that way, recognizing that the body doesn't make mistakes. And say, listen, that if those women are going through it, their body's going through some change, for example, that's not normal. That's not normal. And so in our testing approach is very different. We get a global picture of what's going on and start to find out the things that are throwing them off, so that menopause is a vital, sexual, and an amazing place for a woman, instead of I want to kill somebody. I feel like I'm going to burst into flames at any minute that way. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? I just can't understand that this is a Mayo Clinic, which, for example, Mayo Clinic does some wonderful things. But when they're starting to tell women about what menopause is, they start out right and then they lead them down the wrong path, because the only thing they can do with them is create some synthetic hormone for them that's going to cause cancer. Who said so? The hormones did. Okay. And they destroy in women's lives. And then we set women up that like, why are women so set up for this devastation that they go through? Because they don't know what to do with women. And so when they hit menopause, their life is just thrown into this turmoil of all these psychological and mental things that they don't have to go with.
Do the synthetic hormones that they create and give to these women, does that even alleviate the negative symptoms?
Holy crap. Yeah, see, that's why it works.
See,
that's why people say, Doc, I read the side effects of it, and it's cancer. But you want to
I feel better.
One of the most tough things for a woman is when they're suffering, men are clueless.
Yes.
They're not sympathetic because they don't have a vagina. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what to go through that way. So therefore, guess what? So they're not sympathetic because if their hormones are even a little off, they don't really know much.
Right.
But a woman's hormones are so physically connected to every area of their body,
fine-tuned,
from their big toe to their brain, that when that transitions off, it will cause a woman emotional disruptions, physical disruptions. They can't sleep. They can't do anything. And that's not menopause. That's you're sick.
Right.
Okay.
It even kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little bit last week. Genetics. Your body created to do just.
You are genetically programmed to go through menopause. If you live long enough, there's not one woman that I've ever read in history that's 85 years old and still menstruating. I'm not saying there might not be, but guess what? We haven't have a recorded one of them yet. You say, I'm not me. I'm
85-year-old mother.
Yeah, 85-year-old gives birth. Okay. And I actually, for my beautiful bride, I wish this for my wife, Christy. Okay. So, for example, she went through a bunch of hormone problems before I met her. That's how we became a hormone whisperer, of fixing her and getting my wife pregnant. But here's what happens. We have now decided that we don't want to name our children. Okay. So we don't have our babies. I wish my wife could go into menopause right now.
Right now. Do
you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you don't have to worry about the oops baby.
Yes, the oops.
The oops baby. Okay. And so what happens is, because it's a cycle is a cycle. It's crazy. I mean, it's actually, and here's one thing that really freaks women out. It's easier to keep a woman's hormones normal during menopause than it is during when they're cyclic.
Explain, please, for me.
A menopausal woman's hormones are really no different than the guys. They're flatline. They're straight across. A cyclic woman, just as it says, they cycle up and down every month that way. At least with a menopausal woman, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just keep those levels normal and they can live a very healthy, vital, and sexual life. Okay? But see, that's the thing. But nobody teaches that. Everybody tells you that menopause is coming. I mean, honestly, women, if you're not menopause yet, if you're going, and you know that you're going through a transition, there's already an internal ingrained fear in you. Okay? So they got to stop this. They got to stop this ridiculousness. And so the second part of the question was, well, what did you do on your mom? No joke. My mom's in the studio right now. I actually pulled up her tests. Now, let me explain this, guys. There's multiple ways of testing female hormones. I've been taking care of my mom for a significant amount of time. People are like, oh, Doc, you like to take care of your mom? Yeah, I'm the best person to take care of my mom.
That's right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because, with the exception of my wife, who do I want healthier than my wife? My mother. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to babysit all the time.
Will you take care of my mom then?
Alive. What's that?
You got to help take care of my mom then too.
Oh, good point. No, just kidding. My mom's in the studio, guys, so trust me, she's gonna. I'll get a slap after this. Okay. But here's what happens. So this is her actual physical lab. This is what we did on her. It's called a Dutch test. It's one of the most comprehensive, great tests that are out there. You know what's really funny? Here's one thing you're going to find out because we're bringing Nicole on, who was an RN. She had PCOS. We changed her thinking. And if I gave her this test while she was working in the hospital to look at, compared to now, the test never changed. The only thing that changed was her thinking. So there's multiple ways to test. I just love the Dutch test because it gives a great, complete picture of a lot of hormones.
Very thorough.
But remember, there's also blood, there's also saliva, and it depends on each woman what you're going to test.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll do one sample. Sometimes I'll test a woman all the way through her cycle. Sometimes I'll test a woman's LH by blood. Sometimes I'll do it by all bases on each case. That's why when you guys say, you guys will send things, it happens all the time. Doc, well, how can I get tested? It's very difficult to ask a wellness way office that because we have to know about you.
Yes.
And every woman's different that way. Okay.
It's not formulaic. There's no template.
So, Durham, if you go get a Dutch test and get it done, okay, that's going to give us some great information. It's not saying that's the only thing you need, or believe it or not, it's not saying it's the best hormone test for you.
But you can't just stop at testing.
Dude.
We have to take this another step further. I mean, it was with me, it was with my wife, and it's with a lot of people that come into the Wellness Way story, where really it comes down to the way you think, the way that you approach your healthcare. You're taking care of yourself. So if you test but don't change your thinking, what's going to happen? No, you'll be in the same. You'll be showing up at a health food store asking them for things that are naturally good for hot flashes. No joke. You say, "I got a hot flash. What supplement do you have?" Because I read on the internet that the drugs do cause cancer. It's the same thinking. So. Hey, we got a lot of people saying there are a lot of
even
people.
Dr. Kelby's on there. Dr. Kelby, I don't know if you're on the beginning. We said hi to you before. What's the other doc from Mississippi? We have so many. Dr. Ryan Miller. Cheryl
Lapino says, "Go Vikings! I like you."
Okay.
There's two people in this world.
Brandon, block her from the show.
Oh, no.
Okay. Just kidding.
She just became my biggest fan.
We love you. Okay.
Awesome.
We have all the wonderful people. I have both. My sons are in Minneapolis area. Oh, that's I don't want to. I'm horrible at names. Is that Jeanette Blair Thrain? Oh my goodness, that's a mouthful. Okay. Dr. Hector, Cheryl. Oh, there's Cheryl. Hey, Kay, how's it going? Nice. Krista, nice to see you. Sandy.
Love that.
Sandy's daughter just started chiropractic college down in Florida. Abby. Enjoy. You got 3.5 years before you become a Wellness Way. It's pretty awesome.
Beautiful thing.
Hi, June. Thank you. Oh, just left Fort Mill seeing Dr. Ashland. Dr. Ashland, there's another awesome doctor that joined our Fort Mills office with Dr. Rick because they've been doing an amazing job. Dr. Sampson.
Dr. Jeremy.
Danica. Okay. Danica, actually, her mother now works for our office over in Minneapolis, and Danica and I went to high school together and stuff like that. And so, hey, my sister Natalie's on.
Nice. Hi, Natalie.
It's pretty awesome. We're going to see her soon. We got Jeremy, all the people, Ryan Gunyon, Heather, everybody. So thank you for watching, guys. Please like and share on this, please. I like it.
We just said that at the same time.
That's awesome.
Because we are awesome.
Now set up that point.
Yes. Change the way you think. Yep.
Our guest.
So let's do this. As she walks on, happy birthday to you.
I can't sing, Roscoe.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Nicole.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
So, interesting story here because I want Nicole to tell it but I'll just set the stage for it that way. She is the epitome of healthcare. And what I mean by that is the woman actually came from the medical thinking, which, for example, she was doing good things in medicine. So don't get the concept that I don't like what they do. It's just that she was doing a great job as a labor and delivery nurse. And then she came in because even as a labor and delivery nurse in her education, she was suffering from PCOS. And you saw last week from our previous show, she's actually so become obsessed once she learned about the Wellness Way approach and thinking that way, that she took her RN degree, transformed her thinking, and now go from there. So this is Nicole. Have a good time. Tell them everything you got.
All right. So just a little bit of backstory. He kind of touched on some of it, but I suffered with polycystic ovarian syndrome for a really long time. I actually went into the nurse practitioner at my college because I hadn't had a period in like 7 months. I knew I wasn't pregnant. I kept getting negative tests, and I'm like, why am I not having a period? And I was, nervous about that. And they did some testing, and ultimately someone looked me in the eyes when I was going to be married in 2 months and told me that I probably would never be able to have kids. And I was devastated, and I had to have that conversation with my husband saying, listen, do you still want me because I'm broken?
Similar story. Similar story.
Do you still want me? Because, I really knew that he wanted kids someday.
She just said, because I'm broken. Think of the emotional, that's not a joke. Think of the emotional sadness and pain that she had to go through.
And so that was something that I held on to for a long time. So what I tell my patients all the time on their new patient visit, or whether I'm talking to you, the first thing I tell people is you are not broken. So that's really, really important to understand that you are genetically programmed to have a baby if that's what you want. But I just didn't know how to do that. So I started doing my own research. I started eating healthier, trying to lose weight. You guys, I was 80 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I was losing maybe 25 pounds on my own, and then I kind of plateaued. And I was, feeling healthier. I did a detox. After that detox, I finally got a cycle, and I'm like, there's something to this. I got pregnant with my daughter a couple weeks later with that. And so after I had her, though, my hormones still weren't back to normal. And I kept trying to figure out, okay, what was it that I did on that detox that started to change my body? And so I came to the Wellness Way. I had bleeding eczema all over my body. That was my main reason why I came.
Remember when you sat right across me that first day?
Yeah, and I was just miserable. And I remember sitting in the waiting room and thinking, either these people are going to be a bunch of wackos or they're going to be totally on point. And I'm like, and this might be exactly what I've been looking for. And that's what it was. So at the end of our new patient visit, I started to think differently and started to say, wow, okay, finally I was able to find a clinic that was able to put the pieces together that I was missing, that I wasn't able to put together. And I was able to just look at fertility in a whole new light. So the next day I went to an inflammation talk at the Wellness Way, and I went up, I don't know if you remember this, I went up to Dr. Patrick afterwards, and I said to him, listen, I am going to be a national infertility expert, and I want to use your approach. So do you want me on your team or not?
Yeah.
I was pretty bold about that.
She got the job. I love aggressive. If you ever want a job, trust me. I love aggressive people. Actually, that's a good story too. I got to tell one later too. So.
Yeah. And so I was going to say, so because I knew that if it worked for me, it could work for a multitude of people. And now that's my passion, to get this message out to people, to say, whether you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, whether you have endometriosis, whether you have whatever the case may be, where you just can't seem to have that baby, there is another approach. There is another way. Dr. Flynn took me under his wing. I learned a lot about him. I took his information and I ran with it, did a lot of my own research. And now we've finally been able to take the Wellness Way approach, apply it to case after case after case after case, to see the hormones return to normal.
And the biggest thing, if you think about it this way, is as she was trying things before, you can't have success. You can go and eat a little better, your body will change. Your body wants to be normal. But what happens is she was missing some major markers, and that's what happens with most of you guys out there. You start the process, you'll see some progress, but you plateau, especially if you're a woman that way. And so then by testing properly, I now guided her and showed her that her body didn't make a mistake. Her body was trying to do everything it can, it just couldn't, and stuff like that. And then, but like I said, it's kind of cool. She didn't come from a natural background like we did. She came from total medical thinking, and she still, remember, and her degree is still in RN. Do you understand? But what happened is she took her understanding of biochemistry and stuff, and what we said to her just started to put all the dots together. And she decided to go, that's what they're missing. And that's one thing, guys. Most people are missing that thought process. Yes. And then when your doctor says, Dr. Flynn doesn't know what he's talking about, or a Wellness Way approach doesn't work that way or something like that, the only reason why, because they don't know how to connect the dots. They don't. And so they only live in their little bubble, and they don't realize that their bubble has led to all-time heart disease, all-time cancer, all-time infertility, all-time illness. It's time to burst that bubble. That's why we do the show. That's why we have people like Nicole. See, Nicole had the same obsession I did because of her history and my wife's history. Okay. And so therefore being able to, to approach women and let them know that there is hope, let them know that there's something that can be done. And she has done an amazing job. And she's, like I said, as she said, Doc, I want to do what you do that way. I said, okay, I'll pour into you. Not only do we pour into Nicole, it's kind of cool. We got hormone whisperers all over the country. Dr. Sampson's a hormone whisperer. Yes, he is. Okay, even though he's going to lose that golf in a couple of weeks, he's a good hormone whisperer. Okay, we have everyone. You got Dr. Terry, you got Dr. Matt, you got Dr. Dennis. All these guys. It's actually, it's just that I started this stuff a long time ago and said enough's enough. And now we have doctors from all over the country said, listen, you want something? Enough is enough. There's enough suffering. There's enough sickness. There's enough of Nicoles out there that guess what? That want to get their body normal, but they can't, and their doctors tell them they can't.
1 in 6 women.
1 in 6.
That's crazy.
Yes, and what happens? Medically, we have more technology, more money spent. We're sitting here having this debate. All the Republicans are being idiots, and people know I'm a strong conservative, but Republicans are being idiots because they're trying to control healthcare. Why do we want to fight over something that's a failed system? Do you understand? Why don't you scratch the whole system and start over? Do you understand? And pay for a stupid system that's not going to work anyways. It's failing you guys. Think about that, guys. Our healthcare system has failed you massively. You say, Doc, that makes me uncomfortable. Just look at the stats. I hope it makes you uncomfortable, so you go for a different approach. You understand? So the cool thing is this, Nicole, when you look at what's happened, really, the practice what you do today, really, for example, only changed one thing. What did it change the most?
Just my mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah.
That's it. Because when she looks at my mom's labs, if she looked at this before she actually worked here and after, what happens?
Well, I would have, but prior have been like, well, what are you going to put her on? What sort of medication are you going to be on? With no plan to ever come off that medication.
Thank you. Ooh.
No plan to ever come off.
Girl.
So that's why,
as
a CNA, when I was working in a nursing home, I have these people that I'm giving out 15, 20 pills every single day because there's no plan to get them off the medication. They are customers for life.
Dr. Sampson just said, how about these women who are told IVF worked for you, so now you're good? Something is still wrong.
Can I make an IVF comment real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so IVF, I'm so excited the technology that we have today.
Absolutely.
That works. There are some couples where that's what is needed.
We've even suggested it for some couples.
We've suggested it for some couples. We are not bashing IVF at all, but just take it a step further. Okay, so IVF, it costs thousands and thousands of dollars, at least $20,000 for the first round.
Yep.
Okay. And then if it doesn't work, then it's, sometimes they'll give you a discount on the second round or whatever. So people are in the whole hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time this is end. Okay. So IVF is only 27% effective.
Wait, who says that though? Did we make that set up?
No, that's from that you can go look that up on the World Bank or the Census Bureau. 27% are effective, and there are some of those that have been effective, but then have multiple births and things like that. And so when you're trying to force a pregnancy on an unprepared body,
there you go.
What does the body have to do? Okay, so that's the main issue. Why is it only 27% effective when they're literally taking a fertilized egg and planting it in the uterus? What could go wrong? The body's not prepared.
And so it's smart. It didn't make it didn't make a mistake. It said, I can't do this.
Yes. Exactly.
I feel so bad for, so not even IVF. If a woman goes through a miscarriage, emotionally it's devastating. I hate to see it happen. But in my mind, the way we think, it's going, the body did everything it can to survive because it could have caused mom detrimental, or there could have been some problem with this child, and the body knew exactly what it was doing.
So even if a person is having, maybe say you have embryos because you were trying, and maybe your husband doesn't, maybe he passed away or something like that. I had a patient once who didn't have a
spouse.
Significant other. She just wanted to have a baby, so she used a donor. So she has to use IVF. Okay, that's great. Then come to us to help get your body prepared to increase those chances, so that you're not one of the 27%. How devastating to have no more embryos left, have to go through that miscarriage when your body was just not prepared.
And the financial burden.
The financial burden as well. And let's think about those medications a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of liberty. I'm sorry. I'm on your show.
Go for it. Welcome to the Nicole Saleske Show.
But with the medications, that you're taking, take birth control.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tons and tons of people are in birth control. So they're getting a synthetic hormone. What has to happen to your normal hormone? You are getting forced into menopause. Okay. So if you were to do a blood draw and that synthetic hormone was taken away, you would see your hormone would be literally non-existent. That's why it's so effective when people do this. Prior to IVF procedures, what do? They give them hormones. Well, they give them birth control for a month or two to get their hormones down to normal so that they can manipulate their system with medications to trigger shots and things like that. I was talking to a pharmaceutical rep yesterday who was a patient of ours, and I was telling him about how they are manipulating hormones and how it's not really the women's hormones or the other hormones. He's like, wait a second. He's like, you're telling me that they are just totally manipulating this synthetically? I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, you're going to piss off a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, it's really funny because if you look at birth control itself, it's actually listed as an endocrine disruptor. That's what's classified as medically, an endocrine disruptor. And it's really funny that you made that comment. I have to tell you something that was really funny, and then Ross is going to wrap things up. We've had a wonderful throw. Thank you. If you like this show, please give us a bunch of hearts right now. I think Nicole did an amazing job. You can see that. But Nicole and all the doctors across the country exist with this passion that way. One quick...
Send us a message.
Yes.
I'm happy to talk with you.
That's right. Nicole is definitely happy to talk with you because I don't take new patients. Please stop asking me, okay? But just a 2-second story on here. It's really funny. You mentioned that you're going to tick a lot of people off. Guess what happens? My mom and I were driving over I-43 bridge right now when I first started doing all this stuff, and she said, honey, if what you're saying is totally true, someone's going to want to kill you. Think about that. on the bridge. She's right here right now. And I thought about that, all these natural docs start dying. I'm like, well, at least I know where I'm going. So Ross, why don't you close up this shop today?
I will. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. What an amazing episode. Let it challenge the way you think. If you have questions, go to twwclinics.com. You can see the list of clinics that we have all over the country. Reach out to us.
Reach out to Nicole.
Yes, reach out to Nicole. If you do have questions for us still to answer, make sure you send them to askdrpatrick at twwclinics.com.
Keep it coming. They're coming like
Keep
a
them
ton.
coming. Next week's episode, we are really excited, so I'm not going to tell you. Oh, you want me to?
Tell them what we're going to cover.
We're going to talk about ADD, ADHD, and this insane idea that these kids have to be medicated in order to exist in a world of normalcy. That was me.
I say, look what happened. Look at the end results.
This isn't normal.
No, and actually,
Yes.
my mom is going to be here because she's going to explain what it's like for a mother to go through it. The kid that just,
It's insane. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much. I know
Thank you.
we went a little bit over. Thank you, Nicole. Happy birthday again, everybody. Next week, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you then.